a 5-year-old girl missing since Thanksgiving, when the body of her mother was discovered at their residence in South Carolina, was found safe Friday, authorities said. The fate of 5-year-old Aspen Jeter was especially concerning because she's unable to speak and has difficulty moving on her own. She lives with a rare medical condition known as neurodevelopmental disorder with or without autistic features and/or structural brain abnormalities, her family said. She's okay. Orangeburg County, South Carolina, Sheriff Leroy Ravenel announced at a news conference Friday. Thank God for that. Her mother, Crystal Jumper, was found fatally shot, her body laying on a bed, just after noon on Thanksgiving after sheriff's deputies conducted a welfare check on her residence in Orangeburg, South Carolina, authorities said. Her brother, Paulie Jumper, told NBC affiliate WS of Columbia he hadn't heard from his sister since November 1st. Authorities soon realized Aspen, as well as her father, Anter Jeter, were missing. They launched a search and publicized the girl's plight, distributing photos of the child. A cousin of Crystal Jumper said the father and the child lived at the residence where the mother was found, according to WS. The father was there temporarily because electricity was not functioning at his residence, the cousin said, according to the station. It's not clear if the child was present as her mother's body went undiscovered for days, if not weeks. On Thursday evening, electronic financial transactions such as purchases or ATM withdrawals helped authorities track down Anter Jeter, 46, who was in the area of Danville, Virginia, Ravenel said. The transaction information was delayed, the sheriff said, but Danville police, with the help of the U.S. Marshals Service, were able to conduct surveillance, locate, identify, and arrest Anter Jeter while they took custody of the girl, the Danville Department said in a statement. The sheriff said the two were found in the parking lot of a hospital in Danville. It's not clear why they were there, he said. Authorities allege the 2015 Mazda 6 Anter Jeter was driving was stolen. And Friday morning, before the arrest, the Orangeburg County Sheriff's Office obtained a murder warrant in Anter Jeter's name in connection with Crystal Jumper's demise. Danville police said in a statement they are holding the father for allegedly being a fugitive from justice. Extradition to South Carolina was expected. It wasn't clear if Anter Jeter has retained legal counsel. The Public Defender's Office in Orangeburg County did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Ravenel did not say if detectives have unearthed a motive in the alleged murder. He said investigators aren't exactly sure when she was killed. Sometime before Thanksgiving Day, the sheriff said. I'm not sure the exact day. Justin Bamberg, a lawyer hired by Crystal Jumper's family, expressed their relief and gratitude during the news conference Friday. We can't thank you enough, he said, indicating the sheriff, his troops, and other authorities who tracked the child down. It's a joyous moment, but it's a sad moment as well. Bamberg said Aspen probably doesn't fully understand what's been going on in her life. Asked about her fate, he said the family's goal is to keep her in the hands of relatives in South Carolina and away from Child Protective Services. Aspen will not become a ward of the state, the lawyer said. We're going to make sure that she's with family.
Peru accuses Mexico of interference in internal affairs after Castillo ouster. The Mexican ambassador in Lima has been summoned by Peru's foreign ministry on complaints Mexico is interfering in its internal affairs, after top officials weighed in on the ouster earlier this week of Peru's former president Pedro Castillo. Castillo, who was removed from power on Wednesday after he attempted to dissolve Peru's Congress and call for new elections, was arrested while allegedly traveling to the Mexican embassy, according to Peruvian prosecutors. Mexico's Foreign Minister Marcelo Ebrard later said that Castillo requested for asylum, and Mexican President López Obrador criticized Peruvian elites, calling for the protection of the ousted president's human rights. López Obrador also said he had directed Ambassador Pablo Monroy to open the embassy's door to Castillo. Monroy reportedly met with Castillo on Thursday. A statement from Peru's Foreign Affairs Ministry on Friday said that comments made by the Mexican authorities are an interference in Peru's internal matters and do not reflect the events in recent days. It added that the comments made by these authorities about the right of asylum requested by former President Castillo informed Ambassador Monroy the need for states to follow all regulation established in current international treaties and to comply with all requirements. It also stressed the mutual respect and the norms of international law, as well as Mexico and Peru's long tradition of friendship. I request that you consider granting asylum. In his tweet, Ebrard shared a copy of the letter apparently signed by Castillo's lawyer on Thursday. I have the high honor of addressing you, and in light of the latest political events that have occurred in this country, which you are aware of in great detail, I request that you consider granting asylum to citizen Pedro Jos Castillo Terrones, the letter read. Ebrard said his government has started consultations with the Peruvian authorities, and confirmed that Monroy had met with Castillo. He found him physically well and in the company of his lawyer, Ebrard said. The same day, Mexico's leftist President Obrador told journalists that Castillo tried to go to the Mexican embassy in Lima to request asylum. I contacted Marcelo Ebrard and I informed him. I asked him to talk to the ambassador and to open the embassy's door according to our asylum tradition, the president told journalists. We asked to respect his human rights. We are very sorry about what happened because since Pedro Castillo won, legally, legitimately, he was the victim of harassment, of confrontation. His adversaries, especially the economic and political elites of that country, did not accept that he governed, among other things, and that is what I regret the most, he added. Asked on Friday morning if she would agree to speak to López Obrador on this matter and issue a safe passage for Castillo, Peru's new president Dina Boluarte told journalists she will follow the law. I have always followed the law. We will follow the law for asylum in the case of the former president and his family, that would need to come from the Mexican government. Castillo is currently under a 7-day preliminary arrest ordered by the Supreme Court on Thursday. His arrest marks a humiliating downturn in Castillo's short political career. The former schoolteacher and union leader rose from obscurity to be elected in July 2021 by a narrow margin in a runoff, and was seen as part of a pink tide of new left-wing leaders in Latin America.
Gouda, cheese racks, and a supply chain problem. Planet Money. Small wheels of Gouda line the shelves at T. Koswinkel's cheese shop in Gouda, the Netherlands. Small wheels of Gouda line the shelves at T. Koswinkel's cheese shop in Gouda, the Netherlands. Back in July, we got an email from a man named Gel Peters. Gel lives in the Netherlands, and he's got a job in a very Dutch industry. Gel's company distributes cheese to buyers worldwide. The Netherlands is actually the second largest exporter of cheese in the world, after Germany. Gel Peters is a supply chain expert at a large Dutch cheese company. Gel Peters is a supply chain expert at a large Dutch cheese company. The cheese business in the Netherlands is big, old, and everyone knows each other. Jill explains that family connections sometimes date back hundreds of years. The Dutch cheese business is steeped in tradition. There's even a clandestine cheese guild with secretive ceremonies and arcane practices. And that has made it challenging to deal with a problem he was hired to fix. He's a supply chain expert. He's responsible for thinking about how to move his company's cheese around. One of his most valuable assets is the cheese rack. Jill says that these are custom built. Each one costs nearly $500. And Jill has a problem with his cheese racks. Once the cheese is sold, the racks are supposed to be returned to him. But out of the 2,000 or so racks his company owns, he can only account for a couple dozen. Even in this friendly industry, Jill's customers are just not returning the racks. So, he emailed Planet Money to see if we could help him solve the cheese rack mystery. NPR chef Janice McLean recommends pairing this episode with an aged Gouda, such as a Beemster. For wines, a full-bodied red such as a Cabernet Franc or Pinot Noir would go nicely. If you prefer a younger Gouda, you might pair it with a Grenache or Chardonnay, or perhaps a white wine such as a Riesling. Music, All Mouth and No Trouser, Barney's Bagels, Heavyweight, and Strolling in the Snow. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, NPR One, or anywhere you get podcasts.